There is Brennan.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Sorry, my screen in the background of the logo. It just doesn't look as sharp as I wish it would look, but it's okay. You know what? It is what it is. You can see there's the logo there. I'll move my head from time to time. Okay. So I don't have a green screen in the background. It's just my wall. So anyway,
It
let's
looks good.
what's that?
It looks good. I like the black in the back.
Yeah, it's sharp, right? All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. We have an exciting topic today. As Anastasia mentioned, she's welcomed everyone in here. Before we begin, just keep yourself muted throughout, please. It's nice to have everyone on mute. Some background noise is obviously distracting. Take notes. Treat this like a real seminar. It would be great to have your undivided attention as well, for myself, for Steve, for Anastasia. Have your questions in the chat, or put the questions in the chat rather, that like she mentioned earlier. And welcome back to the ones that are returning. We have quite a few that are returning back from previous webinars. Really the goal here for us at BreezeMax Web is to really provide a lot of value for you and to help you out where you need that help with your paid marketing, with letting your customers know on the website that you have adjusted, how you're doing business really during this time. So, but before I begin, I wanted to introduce Anastasia as well. She's been with the company for almost a year now. You'll see her on the screen there. She's creating meaningful connections and relationships for BreezeMax Web, and she does that throughout her career. Myself, I'll mention myself in a minute, actually, a little bit about myself. And so today we have a guest later on. I'm going to introduce him. Has a lot of experience, and many of you were maybe expecting another guest from LUSH, but she's not going to be joining us today. She'll be joining us another day. So yesterday we talked about, Tuesday we talked about how to get funding for your new business during a pandemic. A great guest named Ashwin. He's director of the Kovitch group out east in Canada. I'm based out west here in Canada, so maybe you're calling in from eastern United States, Canada, all over North America. We're broadcasting live west, east, north to south. Yesterday we had Chris Munier on. He's an expert about local SEO, and he was talking about how to be proactive with your online reputation and review strategy. And then today we're going to be talking about relevant content, and I'll get to the topic in 1 minute. A little bit about us. So we're, like I mentioned, we're called BreezeMax Web. We are a premier Google partner. We started in North America and Europe back in 2005, so we've been around a little bit. This is nothing new for us, the online marketing space. We're all across Canada, all across the US. I've been with the company since 2017, and the company, and even when I was, even since I've been with the company, we've seen a lot of changes in the marketing landscape. And turbulent times have come and gone, and so we're back into those turbulent times, some really unprecedented times, but we do have experience in how to navigate through that. Normally we meet our clients in person at our offices across Canada, but we can't now, so we're diving into more of these webinars a bit more, and we're proud to step up more than ever, really, as a Google partner. We are always treating our treating what we do with a lot of responsibility. We take a lot of responsibility in what we do within the community, and we don't take it lightly, but especially during these times. So when all this happened, we had to act swiftly and with precision. We reset and changed our strategy to help communities all across Canada. And with these, what we did was we were offering this COVID-19 business support tool. And you can see it on your screen there. It's a live chat, it's a banner. It has had tremendous impact with the businesses that we've helped out. So it's been really good. You can see on the left there's an example of one of our clients. They have a live chat feature, and really all this is just to make it a little bit more simpler for your customers to reach out to you. Maybe you visited a website. I'm just going to mute someone that's unmuted in the background there. There we go. Maybe you visited a website and you've bounced off the website, right? Because you couldn't find the phone number, you couldn't find the pertinent details that you were looking for. And so that's really frustrating, right? So your customers have the same experience. You don't want that to happen. So we have this live chat. On the right-hand side, you'll see a banner we've created for our clients. Pretty much all of them have this, our thousands of clients, and we started opening up to non-clients. So that's where you potentially can take advantage if some of you are not our clients yet on the call today. You can take advantage of that. We'll talk to Anastasia a little bit later, or leave your information in the chat and we'll get you set up with them. They are no charge and no contract, by the way. I didn't mention that already. And so these are really good awareness tools, support tools for your website. And then on the screen, you'll see there you can add on some features as well. We can help you out with communicating with your clients through email, touch base with them through text, updating your social media, Google Ads. All of these services can really support that. So we'll come back to these a little bit later after our special guest speaker comes on, Steve. And that leads me to the topic. Can relevant content strengthen your brand in a crisis? And our guest speaker, Steve Kovitch, will be talking about this. I'm going to start talking a little bit about different pieces of content, blogs, what some good examples of brands that are really doing well with this to navigate through this storm, right? So how do you go about this, right? What kind of content do you need? Since COVID-19 has begun, we've entered a new world, really, right? Face-to-face activities have evaporated overnight. And the way we interact with and consume media has been transformed because we're all spending more time at home now, right? The internet hits have grown by between 50 to 70%, 50 to 70%, and streaming has jumped up by about 12%. So it's been an incredible surge in traffic, and you as a business need to take advantage of that. Many of us are obviously spending more time, reading, watching shows, checking social media, binging shows, learning new things. But really for your brand, we are researching brands, right? We're consuming their content. We're looking for services. So for example, home gym equipment, right? Educational programs, events. A lot of the events that normally were offline, they're now going online. So how can you bring your event online? There's definitely ways to do that, a virtual event. Keeping your kids busy. I know a lot of people are struggling with that. I'm talking to clients and friends all the time who are dealing with that. So if your brand is positioned to offer something to children, this is the time to do that, right? Mental health and well-being, and also to DIY things. So for example, we have a client who offers a massage tool to help. So this can benefit him during these times because as someone's sitting on the couch, they're actually just working on their shoulder, working on their back, so they can feel better. What does content look like on the internet? What exactly does it look like? Because it's a very broad statement, right? Content creation. Company announcements, right? Telling your customers you're open, telling them about your response to COVID-19. Event marketing, right? You can bring your event online and you can tell them about it through different platforms. E-guides, packaging up a solution to help your customers. This is very effective as a way to get your customers into your funnel. So you can have a PDF package, hey, these are the top 10 tips. We can create that for you, by the way. We have a whole content team, if you like. We can help you out with that. And you would actually offer that to your clients. And they would enter in their email address or some way to capture their information. And in return, you give them that free guide. And it's a really great way to build business up, and especially plant seeds for the next 2 to 6 months. Blogs, guest contributed articles are also very important, and not only for content. A lot of this content, we don't normally read so much of it, but it's good for ranking, right? Which I'm going to talk about in the next 2 slides. Search ads as well, right? These are Google search ads. You've seen them at the top of Google. They pop up on your phone right away at the top. They have a great impact. They take shelf space up. And really in those search ads, you can decide what is the messaging that you want to convey to your target market, right? Are you the HVAC company that has really good pricing? Are you the dog walker that, will, make it really, really easy for you to drop off your pet at their place, right? Something like that. So it's important to look at all these different resources that are available to you. A really good example of a large brand called Sleep Country. They're a mattress company. If you haven't heard of them, most have, I'm sure. You'll see a couple of quotes on my screen there, but what they've been saying to their clients, and they've had a good response. So they've said, as you've made necessary adjustments to your living and sleeping arrangements in your home, we are pleased to introduce you with a sleep expert chat service, right? So they're doing this as well with their live chat on their website. The same expertise and know-how that helps match you to your best sleep when you visit our stores is now available to you virtually through our website. Best-in-class sleep experts can help address all your questions. We're available 24/7, and we've shifted all of our business online, and we're making delivery very easy. They have the no-contact delivery. And they also said, our belief in the power of sleep has never been greater. It benefits both our bodies and our mental well-being. A good night's sleep will help you better tomorrow. So all of this actually is very, very relevant towards what's happening right now. And they have really plugged themselves into this and positioned themselves well. So a good example, something to think about how you can do that as a business. A couple of blogs, blog titles that we've used lately when we write content for our clients' websites. So how hygiene labels can help reduce the spread of COVID-19. This is a print company, and they create labels. So what a great article to not only start ranking on Google, right? So that when someone is looking for tips for, how to put, what to put on labels and how to convey the proper messaging, even internally to their staff, that article would show up on Google, and then they can find that company that way. An insurance company, they have said, it's important we support each other like never before. We will answer your phone call within 30 seconds, right? Fast. We're there for you. Really add some reassurance. How you can save on auto insurance during the COVID-19 crisis, right? Maybe, most of us are driving less. So you're going to reduce a little bit of if you have business insurance, maybe you're going to take it off, but your storage insurance may go up if you're parking your vehicle, right? So keeping an eye on that. Coronavirus and real estate. This was another topic for a realty company. They're doing video conferencing. And so they have a great blog. I wish I could show you the blog here, but it was a lot to put on there. So I'm just kind of giving you the themes of them. IT support services as well. We're stuck at home more. We're online. A lot of companies obviously have transitioned to their employees working from home. And so, we need support with our devices. And finally, here, the last slide before we pass it over to Steve is SEO content. I mentioned search engine optimization. If you haven't heard of it, all that is look on the right-hand side of my screen there. They're called organic listings. They're just the listings on Google that you see all the time when you Google something. Really, that is content as well. And so how can you position your website there and have different links? We have the main page, we have the contact page, and we also have their Facebook listing and several others, so that they are occupying that first page or taking up all that real estate. And this will increase your website's keyword rankings. So for different keywords, you're going to show up. Attracting high authority backlinks. Some of you may know what that means. If you don't, ask us more about that later. Directing users to other pages on the website. I already mentioned that. And really converting visitors into buyers, subscribers, or leads. And so you can do that through utilizing what's called the meta tag, which is below that heading there, you can see. So for example, Brown Bros, they have AC, furnace and water heater rental service. And below that, they have, we're a premier heating and cooling service provider. Contact us about our rental bundles. Okay. So different examples there. And then the second one, you can see the contact page. They actually have a little write-up about one of their reps that works for them. And so from the moment we were approached by Nathan at our door to assess our needs, everything was great, right? So this is something that we can set up for you if you don't know how to do that yourself. So that's kind of an introduction there. I went into a little bit of detail. And now I want to introduce Steve Kovitch. Okay, it's a bit of a tongue twister of a last name, but I've figured it out over the last 3.5 years. He is our Senior VP of Sales at BreezeMax Web. He's been with the company for over 10 years now. He has a decade plus experience in the online advertising world. He consults with large companies all across North America, as well as small companies as well too. And he always says, if it happens on the internet, he takes care of it for you. He's grown over a half dozen large markets. And I like to started calling him Stoic Steve. So Steve, welcome aboard. Welcome on the call. How's it going, man?
Very good. Hey, thanks for the lovely introduction, Brennan. I appreciate it very much. And also, thank you to Anastasia and every single one of you on the call today. I see we've got people all the way from Australia, New York, Toronto, Los Angeles. So it's really interesting to have these webinars be a really worldwide event in so many ways. So thank you all for being here. The reason that you're here today is the same reason that I'm here. During the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of us have been left wondering what to do and how to move forward. Because obviously, we do all have to move forward with our lives and our businesses. So each day when Brennan and Anastasia tackle a new subject on one of these webinars, it's provided me with a ton of wonderful insight and things that I've been sharing with my clients as well as non-clients, just an effort to help out. Is ultimately we are responsible to help each other out in these times. So I hope you continue to join these webinars each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you get some value out of them. I was very excited to kind of fill in today. As you all know, in the email, we had mentioned Naomi Warren, one of the copywriters from LUSH Cosmetics, was supposed to appear today. Unfortunately, it's a very last-minute scheduling conflict because of COVID-19. So she will be joining us on one of the later webisodes next week or the week after. So stay tuned for updates on that. The subject that we were going to talk about today, we're going to continue on with. It's a very, very important one. It is about content, the content that you're putting forward right now in front of your customers and potential customers. One of the big questions that I've been asked several times, many times a day as a matter of fact, from the business owners I work with, whether it be a plumber or a pizza place, a pest control service, even a reggae band, actually, so all sorts of diverse businesses, they ask me, should I mention the coronavirus? Should I say something about the coronavirus? And the answer is a big, absolute yes. Not mentioning about COVID-19 in your content right now is somewhat irresponsible, and it's irresponsible to your own business. What I mean by that is a lot of the potential customers that are out there, everyone has been affected and touched by the coronavirus in some way, whether we know someone who's gotten sick, a business that we go to has been shut down because of it, or even just if we've heard the news, turned on a radio or TV in the last 6 weeks. So it's on top of everyone's mind. And if you do not address your content to answer to that, what you're really saying to your potential customers is, I'm not up and running right now. I'm not participating in the world of business anymore. And this is probably the fastest way to lose your potential business. So I think, Brennan, you prepared a few slides for us to look at. Why don't we dive on to the first one? Okay, so what everyone's looking at on their screen right now is a Google business listing for the Rec Room. Now, when somebody goes onto Google to search for a business, nowadays usually they're searching for you specifically. It's a referral-based thing. So if I was looking for the Rec Room because I was curious to see if they're still in business or not, on their Google business listing, which is their very first kind of digital handshake, the first impression that me as a customer is going to see, I see right away under their events they have a COVID-19 alert. It's a little red square that's highlighted on the far right section of the page here. It says event information may be out of date due to the coronavirus, COVID-19, confirm details with the organizers. So even a simple message like that on that Google business listing is already letting me, the potential customer, know that the event I was thinking about going to or perhaps have tickets for may be postponed, and it's up to me to responsibly check in on that. The reason we started with this first slide about the Google business listing is because even if somebody goes through to your website, this Google business listing is typically their very first impression of you. Anything that any of you have Googled in the last 6 weeks, you've noticed probably has this COVID-19 banner up. And that's because agencies like ours, like BreezeMax Web and Google and other agencies, have made sure to activate all of these banners on the Google business listings to be responsible right now, to make sure people are reassured that the businesses are still open. If we jump to this next slide here, you'll also see things. So for example, on this slide on the far left, we see it's a DoorDash delivery ad, because normally this business, the Parlor Restaurant, is normally open for dine-in, but you see their hours have been closed. This lets people know that not only are they open for delivery, but that that the doors are physically closed for now. So just a little being responsible and providing that content. Now this is a very light version of the way that the content can be distributed just for informational purposes online. Brennan, if you could switch to the next slide, please. Now this is one that gets me a little more excited. Me as a customer, I'm probably going to dive deeper into that information. So I'll click on the Google business listing to the website. This website screenshot you've seen here is for Braun Bros, a good example that Brennan likes to use quite often. And if you zoom in on the screen, you'll notice that there's a pop-up right in front of their website, giving a notice to their customers that the Braun Bros are open for business right now. And as a matter of fact, not only open for business, but they're being socially responsible and they're looking out for the health of their customers more than ever before. Here's another example for Milton Hardwood. This is a hardwood floor dealer in Milton, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto. And they have done not only the same thing of posting up the information that they're still open during COVID-19, but they also added a new feature to their business, which is virtual appointments. So if you've ever had to get a floor replaced, you know how you have to have an estimator come into your home or office to do the estimate. Now they offer them virtually so that they do not put their customers at risk anymore. So this is a great step forward in terms of content to let their customers know that they're still available. And last but not least, a lot of the businesses that are out there have been greatly, greatly affected by COVID-19, where they literally cannot open their doors right now. Dental offices are one of them. So with this dental office example you're looking at on the screen, not only have they put up their COVID-19 banner, which as you can tell is very, very hard to miss, but they are still open for emergency appointments. So, you know, if somebody gets hit in the face and the tooth breaks, that's an emergency. A tooth cleaning or a tooth whitening is not an emergency. But as well, they're also taking a subscriber list, a wait list. So somebody who does want a non-emergency service, like a tooth whitening or teeth cleaning service, can be put on a wait list and they can be reached out as soon as the doors are back open again. This is a great way to use that COVID-19 content to stock up your database of potential new clients and customers down the road. Perfect example. Let's move on to the next one here. All right. Travel isn't going anywhere. Well, travel isn't going anywhere right now, but this is a perfect example of that wait list concept. Obviously, with the travel bans that are happening right now, travel agencies are greatly affected by this pandemic, but they've had this wait list so that people can actually subscribe to get information on when those trips will be available, when those borders will be available again. So the reason we go through these slides is that you see several examples of various ways that people have used the COVID-19 pandemic to create content to reassure their customers and leverage that to make sure they still have incoming customers either currently right now or down the road when the smoke clears and the dust settles. Alrighty. So when you're asking yourself, should I say something about the pandemic in your marketing, it's so important that you do. It's so important that you let your customers know whether or not you're available or not to reach out to them. And these pieces, like Brendan mentioned before, kind of follow a little trail. That initial trail is when somebody does that Google search, so that Google business listing has to mention that content. And if they dive deeper into your website, it should also say it. It's important that you tailor your message to let them know what you have done in these times. This is not a situation where no news is good news. You want to provide them with that news full time. Luckily, a lot of us have full access to our websites and Google business listings, so we can manage that ourselves. Although a lot of our clients, unfortunately, do not have access to their own website or to their own Google business listing. That's where an agency like ours can come in and help in these times. We do it very, very quickly. Now, if there are any questions about how to add content or what kind of message that someone would like to use to put on their site, I'd gladly take those questions now from anyone in the audience listening today. You can just type them into the group chat there.
We don't have any questions right now, Steve.
Okay.
But if someone has a question right now, instead of typing it in, you could feel free to just unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. And as you are thinking of questions to ask, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own business and see how these strategies might be able to benefit you as well. Oh, I see Stephen Gregory is online.
Yes. This is a great point about don't do nothing.
Absolutely. There's a phrase that our CFO, Vishal Nanshaw, said to me 10 years ago, and I'd like to repeat it to you all now. He said to me, as I'm learning about, Google advertising and AdWords and websites, I thought I knew it all. I thought I knew everything about the business. And he said to me, Steve, you probably think knowledge is power. I said, yeah, of course knowledge is power. He said, that is incorrect. Knowledge is only potential power, because if you do not use that knowledge, it is worth nothing. So the reason I'm repeating that to you all now is so you can say, what do you know about your business? What do you know about how it's being affected by COVID-19? And is that message important to reach out to other people with in your content? As well, if there's something that you are unaware of, if you have questions to ask, that's exactly why we do these Q&A periods. That's exactly why Brennan and Anastasia put on these webisodes for all of you. That's exactly why we do those one-on-one consultations and deep dives for you after these calls.
So Steve, I have a question for you from Alfred. How are we able to adapt to the Google business listing COVID-19 statement?
Okay, so if you'd like to add one or you'd like to amend and edit one, it's the same process. So I'll give you the theorem is you want to adjust those things so they're accurate to your business. I'll give you the actual practical example. I work with a chain of bubble tea stores here in British Columbia. They have 27 locations. Each one of their locations, their hours are different. Some of them do delivery, some of them don't. So what we've done is we've created a portal for them to log in to all of their Google business listings all at once. If you're on a Google page, in the top right corner, you'll see a little series of boxes. If you click on that box, all of your apps are there, including your Google business listing login. Once you log into it, you just go to your hours of operation to change those. But there's a new tab in there that says Coronavirus COVID-19 Update Box. If you click on there, you'll be able to edit all of that information. Now, you do have to be the owner of that account to do it instantly, which means you do have to have a verified account. The effect happens within 60 minutes of you hitting apply and submitting that change. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Steve.
Alfred, I believe you're unmuted. If you wanted to speak, go ahead.
No, that clarified. You understood my question. So I just trying to find, because I've been doing all the business listings and updating those, and they all have their own little COVID place where you could create a statement on like Yelp, all these additional listings, Google Business, Bing, all these places. So, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're getting your hands on it and managing it yourself. And here's why: as a business owner myself, I like to be in control of that narrative. I like to be in control of that message that my potential customers are seeing forward facing. So I'd rather get in there and edit it myself, just like you have, rather than let Google or third-party agents say the hours may be affected and be kind of a loose and uncommittal banner. So the fact that you've gotten your hands on it is perfect. Good job. Good job. Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'm going to jump to something new while you guys are thinking of other questions. As you know, we're really happy to see you all here on these webinars. I see a lot of returning faces and a lot of new faces. A lot of the things that we discuss on these webinars about having that image, that first impression to your customers online include a website. We have gotten a lot of feedback from people in the webinar that a lot of you actually do not have websites. So starting next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, if you invite somebody to the webinar, another business owner who you feel can use some assistance, if they share on social media and tag BreezeMax Web, you'll be automatically entered into a contest to win a free 6-page custom website. So this will be a no-charge website, no contract. It is our gift to you for participating in these webinars. So we do hope you share that message, because our goal is to reach out to as many people and offer as much help as possible during the pandemic. These include all of our, as you see on the screen here, our COVID
tools, which are all no charge, no contract, and no obligation. And next week we have some really, really interesting subjects. So on Tuesday, we have part 3 of 3 with Ashwin. He's going to come on to talk about how to put finances in place to either start a new business during a pandemic, or if your current business is opening into a new branch, something new to get funding for that. Wednesday, we're going to be talking about which website platforms will allow your small business to thrive, which is a direct correlation to our free 6-page website giveaway. And as well, Thursday, it's going to be how to create an amazing first impression. Now, when you have to create a first impression with a business owner, I'd like to use a quick example. If you're a business owner and you go to meet a potential client, I hope you show up with a clean shirt and clean pants and clean shoes and your hair brushed. I hope that you don't show up wearing torn jogging pants and a stained t-shirt. That exact same principle of wanting to put a good impression forward has to exist on your website as well. If you have a good modern looking website that's easy to use, you'll be making a wonderful first impression on your customer. Rarely does the customer say, wow, that guy's got a great professional looking website, but it's a very passive kind of feeling, and they recognize good work when they see it. However, if your website is highly outdated, it's very old, it has a dancing baby gif on it, and your logo is in a Comic Sans font, it is a very poor first impression to put forward with a new customer, and chances are you're losing a lot of well-earned business by doing that. So Thursday is going to be a really crucial webinar for any of those people who are looking to update their image online. So before we go, are there any other questions? Even any questions about our website giveaway next week? I'm going to take the silence as a no. In that case,
I'll jump in here. Thank you, thank you everyone for coming on. It's been a very good last couple of weeks, and we're going to continue, as Steve mentioned, the great topics next week. Hopefully, you're getting a ton of value out of this, and also, just remember that we are here for you to help you out, support you in consultation, in implementation, and in different ways, and how that looks within your business. We can talk one-on-one. So definitely reach out to Anastasia as well to book a consultation with myself or Steve. And thank you for the returning and new guests that have come on here, and definitely give us some feedback as we progress here. We're also just trying to improve things as we go. So thank you very much. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate everything. And we will keep the chat open a little bit longer. If some further questions trickle in, please.
Brennan, we do have one more question here. It comes from Jack. It says, how do we get the free tools?
Certainly. So as I mentioned, just reach out to Anastasia and she will set you up with a consultation, and we'll speak about that. And it's a very simple process. There's a 3-step process, and I'll send you an email with that. And then we implement the live chat and or the banner on your website.
And we have Victor as well. He's saying that his interest is to get people to buy tickets online and his e-commerce store.
Okay. What's actually, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah. So Victor, great question. I love working with e-commerce stores because, there's a direct correlation between, the click from Google to the customer making a purchase on the store. It can all be tracked. And there are, depending on what type of product or service you're offering in your e-commerce store, there are different strategies. But my kind of marketing advice for you, and I want you to keep this in mind, everyone on the call can keep this in mind, that you are all human beings, and therefore all of your customers are also human beings. So whatever you do and however you feel, that's the same journey that they take. That's exactly what they do and how they feel. So in real life, when you need a product or service and you go to Google to look it up, you don't buy something from every single website you go to. It's more of a law of averages. Usually you'll purchase something you need from about 10% of those stores. What that means is that for every 100 people that land on your website, at least 10 of them should be new potential customers. Now that's a theory. I've seen the statistics be as bad as 1 in 50, and I've seen them be as good as 1 in 4. If you look at the analytics in the back end of your website, you'll see how many new people have landed on your website and how many sales you've made because of that. That is your specific real ratio. If you want to increase your sales, you simply need to increase the amount of traffic on the site. If you want to increase the amount of sales without increasing the amount of traffic on your site, then you would implement little on-site tools to help convert more sales. And these are called conversion ratio optimizing tools. If any of you have been on Amazon.com or eBay or any other big sales site, you've seen these before. They say things like, people also bought this, or you may also like that, or this is the #1 rated this. These are small tools that are embedded onto a website to let customers know that they're getting good value. And the psychology does increase the rate of sales onto a website for existing traffic. Most of our clients with e-commerce stores choose to do both. They want to increase the traffic and potential buyers to their site while also focusing on a higher conversion rate for that traffic. So, Victor, if you take a look and if you have access to your analytics in your website, you'll see how many new people landed on there. You'll see how many individual sales you've made. That's going to be your ratio. From there, you can do the math backwards, and you'll know how to increase you'll learn how much traffic you'll need to increase to achieve the sales you're looking for. And there's a lot of different ways to increase that traffic. I'd really suggest reaching out to Anastasia or Brennan so they can do a deep dive into your site and give you some very specific numbers and how that can be done. But I hope that answers your question for now.
Perfect. Yeah, Victor says, sounds good. Excellent. Thank you very much. Sure.
Happy to help. That's why we're here, guys. Fantastic. Alrighty. Well, on that note, I'm going to be leaving the call. Brennan and Anastasia will be here to answer any other questions that you have. We're really looking forward to seeing as many of you today as next week as we did today. And again, if you have any other friends or business owners that you feel we'll get some value out of these, we hope to see them as well. Thank you very much, guys. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. All right, we are here. If anyone has any questions, go for it. I just put one to maybe prompt some questions for you. I just put in the chat. It says, does everyone have a content creation system set up already? Do you have, a plan for that? Have you been executing on that to get some content on your website, social media? How has it been going? Right. Last week we talked to Mike Mall. He was one of our guest speakers on. He's the founder of Social Media House, and he came on and just discussed a little bit more about basically the pillars of media and the pillars of content and why it's important to engage with your clients, and also to not forget about your tribe. We call them your tribe, right? Which is maybe if you have a small business, maybe that's 5,000 customers or 500 customers, whatever that is. Keep engaging with them, right? So engage with them and make sure that they know you're there so that they stick with you, right? It's obviously easier said than done, but it's important. So he talked a little bit about that, and also talked about setting up a social media calendar. So a social media calendar, if you haven't heard about it, is essentially just scheduling your posts ahead of time, and you can do them in a very efficient way. And that just makes it a little bit easier on you. And also, one thing that I picked up from his from the webinar that we had with him last week was that treat this content creation, even social media as well, your Google presence, treat it as if it's treated as important as your payroll. You're having to pay your staff, right? It's very, very important. And so if you overlook these things, now is the time not to.
Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for joining our webinar today. And again, please join us next week as well, always same time. So we'll leave the chat on for another maybe 30 seconds or so. And if you'd like to book an appointment, for those of you who have not already booked, please just let me know and I will take care of booking your appointment. So that will be all for today. So thanks again on behalf of Breeze Max Web. Thank you very much. And thank you to Steve as well, even though he's off the call. Where's a big thank you, because he's definitely a great source of information. So Brennan, you could go ahead and close the chat. Very good. Thanks again.